Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today is going to be the greatest day of your life. Pet peeves. I'm going to tell you, this is one of my biggest one. People who hang on to their past and let it control their present and their future. You know, as much as I care about you and I want to hear about the things that have occurred in your life and offer advice where I can, but mostly I just want to lend a caring ear. Hearing about something that's occurred to you in your past over and over and over again, and you not being willing to just let go and move on, knowing that the past doesn't dictate your future and it should not dictate your present. You can move past things that have occurred to you in the past. We can all do better. And trust me, being somebody who had a major medical incident happen to them at the age of 16, I had an incredible opportunity to live the rest of my life telling everybody my story about how I'm partially paralyzed on the left side of my body. Poor me, I have brain damage. I'm never gonna have the mentality of anything above and beyond a 16-year-old boy for the rest of my life. This, that, I've had struggles with this as a result of my car accident. And, I could sit around and tell that story forever. And you know what? Right after my accident happened and things were occurring in my life, I did tell that story for a few years. Somebody sat me down and they asked me, how long are you going to tell that story over and over again, Doug? You cannot live in that moment for the rest of your life. You have a lot to offer, and there's so much available to you in this world. There's tremendous amounts of opportunity. Don't sit around and talk about your health issues and all the things that have occurred to you in the past. People will listen to you, but eventually will not care as much anymore because you're telling the same thing over and over again. And I listened, and at that point in time, I realized that there's a fine line between learning from our past and being held captive by it. And psychology tells us that dwelling on the past can create a cycle of negative thinking that's hard to break free from. And I think that's true, right? But how do we know when it's time to let go and move on? Now, experts say that there are certain signs that can show you're ready to move forward in your life, and these signs are like a green light. They tell you it's time to leave your past behind and start fresh. And today I'd like to talk to you about some clear indications that it's time to embrace change and progress, and then I promise you, it's not as daunting as it sounds. It's time to move on. Let's dive in here. Let's talk about this a little bit. Are you constantly reliving past events? Psychology tells us that it's perfectly normal to replay past events in our minds. It's how we learn and grow, right? But when these memories start to consume your mind, it's a sign that you're stuck in the past. And you might find yourself constantly thinking about a past event, then you dissect it, right? And you walk through everything that occurred, trying to understand what went wrong or why things happened in the way they did. And you can replay great moments in your mind, wishing you could return to that time in your life. We do that as well, right? But it's the negative thoughts that are the ones that will drag us down, and they'll affect the results that we get, not only currently, but in the future. Because you see, constantly reliving the past can prevent you from enjoying the present and planning for the future. And if you can leave, it can just leave you feeling like a spectator in your own life, right? You watch as other people move forward in their life while you remain static. And if that sounds familiar, then I'm going to tell you right now, it might be time to let go and start focusing on the here and now. I've fixed it, but in the past, I was somebody who would hold a grudge and maybe a little bit of resentment. And I think we've all been there, right? Someone has wronged us, and when they do, it's just hard to let go of the hurt, right? I remember a time when a close friend of mine betrayed my trust. And for months, I couldn't stop feeling bitter and upset whenever I thought about what happened. But I realized that holding on to these feelings of resentment only hurts me in the long run. It's like carrying around a heavy bag of rocks. You can keep lugging that bag around, but it's going to weigh you down and make it harder for you to move forward in life. So if you find yourself unable to forgive others or let go of grudges, it might be a sign that you're stuck in the past. And it's also a sign that it might be time to just let go and move on. You're beautiful, you're amazing, and there are incredible things within you that the world wants to see. They don't just want to see your past, they want to see how amazing you are today and who you're becoming in the future. Because remember, as you become this new amazing person, somebody might be looking at you. They might be looking to you as an example. And as they see you change and become the new you just might impact some change on them as well. And if you're constantly sitting around suffering from chronic stress and anxiety, those are often associated with our body's fight and flight response, right? So, we need to understand that when these feelings persist over time, they can become a chronic issue that can significantly impact our health and our well-being. And this is because our brains struggle to distinguish between past, present, and future events. So when we obsess over our past events, our bodies react as if these events are happening right now. So if you are constantly feeling stressed and anxious, and you can't pinpoint a current reason for it, it might be because you're still holding on to past events. And recognizing this can be a huge step towards letting go and moving forward in your life. Do you avoid new experiences? Life is full of new experiences, whether it's trying a new hobby, traveling to a different place, or meeting new people to network so we can better our circumstance. But if you find yourself consistently avoiding these types of opportunities, it might also be a sign that you're stuck in the past. When we're holding on to the past, it can make us feel safe and comfortable. And the unknown can seem scary in comparison. But in reality, avoiding new experiences means missing out on personal growth and the joy that comes with discovering something new. So if you notice that you're frequently saying no to new opportunities, it might be time to question why. Ask yourself, is it because of fear? Or is it because you're still anchored to some event that's occurred to you in the past? And if so, when you recognize that, it can be a significant step towards moving forward and becoming the new amazing you. And you're amazing today, don't get me wrong. But as you grow, you become a new type of amazing. And people will notice, and you're going to feel great for just moving forward. And are you unable to enjoy the present moment? One of the biggest things is that living in the past can rob us of our ability to enjoy the present. And I know this for a fact. I lived in the past for some time, and then bringing myself into the present and letting go of those things, it's just been an amazing experience for me, because I found myself constantly thinking about what was instead of what is. And if you're doing that as well, it's likely a sign that you're stuck in the past. And you might be at a friend's party, but instead of enjoying the laughter and conversation, you're stuck in your head. Have you ever been there? I've been there, sitting there reminiscing about past events. Or you might be on a beautiful nature hike, but instead of soaking in the scenery, you're consumed with memories of past hikes. And what's different about this one, and why this one isn't as great, and what you hoped it would be, and it's not that. And those feelings and those thoughts can destroy your present experience. And the inability to be present and enjoy the here and now can be a clear indication that it's time to let go of those past events and start engaging in the world as it is today. And remember, every moment spent dwelling on a past moment is lost. You lose the joy for the day. when you're sitting there dwelling on the past. It just impacts you. And I tell you what, being able to move on is something I've had to work on over the years. It doesn't come like that for everyone. Everybody can't just let go. But there are tools and there are ways that we can let go of the past. Sometimes it just involves sitting with someone, having a conversation, or having a conversation with yourself as if you were sitting with someone. I know lately I've been saying talk to yourself, but you know what? It's true. You can talk to yourself and you can trust yourself. It's amazing. You're listening not only to yourself here in the same way that others, when they speak to you, you listen with your ear. You can hear people, you can hear yourself. You react in the same way for both. But if your past is affecting your relationships and you can't talk to someone else, well, then that's a sign that you may need to move on. Because you know what? Relationships are one of our greatest joys, but they can also profoundly be affected by our past. And if you find that your past experiences are causing issues in your current relationships, it's a sign you might need to let go. Perhaps you're bringing trust issues in from a past relationship into a new one. Or maybe old family dynamics are influencing how you interact with friends, colleagues, or maybe your loved one's family, your in-laws and things like that. These can create barriers and prevent us from forming meaningful connections with others. And recognizing that everyone you meet is a new person with their own unique set of experiences and traits. They're not people from your past, and they deserve to be known for who they truly are today. So when we let go of the past, it'll allow us to engage more honestly and openly with others, and it can bring a new depth to your relationships that wasn't possible before. It might be challenging, but it's worth it. Trust me. Or are you in a position where your personal growth just seems stagnant? You and we've been working on personal growth every single day. And I can recall a time in my life when it felt like I was stuck in a rut. I wasn't learning new things or challenging myself in any way. I felt like I was just merely existing, not living, but just here, existing. And it was I thought my own personal growth had just hit a plateau. And I was just going through the motions of life. But if you're feeling this way, it could be a sign that you're holding on to the past. When we're stuck in the past, it can prevent us from evolving and growing as individuals. And growth comes from new experiences and challenges, stepping out of our comfort zone. So it requires us to do that and face our fears. But if we're anchored in the past, this can be difficult to do. So letting go of the past can open up a world of possibilities for our personal growth. And it's amazing. If you feel stagnant and stuck in a rut, analyzing where you're at today, the feelings you might be constantly repetitively thinking in your mind from the past. By letting go of those things, your personal growth, you'll have energy. Your personal growth will change. You'll begin to move forward again and willing to experience new things. It'll change, and I tell you what, when it does, you'll notice it. Other people will notice it, and they'll be able to tell by that beautiful smile on your face. Or are you constantly negative? It's totally normal to have negative thoughts from time to time, right? But if you find that negativity is a constant presence in your life, it could indicate that you're dwelling too much on the past. Now, perhaps you're continually beating yourself up over past mistakes. Now, I've been there, and I've done that. Or maybe you're always comparing your current situation to a past one and feeling dissatisfied. In my life, I've had some ups and I've had some downs. But I'll tell you what, I remember the ups, and I am pretty much always constantly keeping score. basically I call it. Where was I then? How did I feel then? Boy, I was so happy back then. Now I'm here. And then I have to say, you know what? But here is okay. And I need to remind myself of that, because that type of negativity can drain you. It can prevent you from seeing the good in your current life. And remember, it's perfectly okay to make mistakes. We're all human beings, and we all make mistakes. And it's okay if things aren't perfect. Not everything's perfect in every moment of our life. But that's what makes it fun, because life's a journey, and we're all learning as we go, right? Now, are you not excited about your future? I've had some times in my life where, I haven't always seen the future as a source of excitement, and I haven't always been there wanting my future to come, because, sometimes we see some negativity forthcoming, but the future should be a source of excitement and anticipation. You need to remind yourself it's a blank canvas, and it's full of potentials and possibilities. No matter what you think is going to happen doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna happen. And that type of thinking can just destroy the fact that we're living in the moment. So if the thought of your future fills you with dread or indifference, it could be a sign that you're still tied to the past. Remember, it doesn't matter where we came from or where we are today. Neither are a direct indicator of what our future results can be. And when you're stuck in the past, it can cloud your vision of the future. We might struggle to set goals or find it hard to imagine anything different from what we've already experienced. But the truth is, the future is unwritten. And I want to say that one more time. The future is unwritten, and you have the power to shape it. You do. And that's the amazing thing. Letting go of the past can clear your vision. It can allow you to start dreaming and planning for the future once again. And it's incredibly empowering to realize that. And friends, I cannot explain to you. I grew up in a very poor circumstance. Anything that happened to me as a child when I was growing up is not directly related to my present day. And it is not in any way a dictator of who I will be or what is available to me in the future. And the same is 100% correct for you as well. It's a fact, 100% a fact. We can let go of our past, stop telling everybody your story, and move on. Tell them the new story. Everybody wants to hear a success story. Tell them about how you're changing, how you're growing, and the new you that you're becoming. They'll be so excited for you. You'll be surprised at how many people will probably jump in and help you in some way. And that'll help to progress you to move down this path towards creating a bigger, better, and a more beautiful life. I'm telling you what, the most amazing life you could ever possibly have is waiting for you. It is. And right now you're just in training. You weren't in training 10 years ago. That's not what you're bringing forward into the present. You're in training right now, because the skills and everything you're doing right now and everything you're learning right now is creating this new amazing you that's just going to take on the world like a ball of fire. You're going to be a storm of positivity. You're going to take on the world, become amazing, and you're going to achieve the goals, dreams, and desires that you're setting for yourself. And that's a path that I'm willing to walk down with you. And I'll be here for you every single day as that occurs and as you realize your individual greatness. Now, I'll be back tomorrow with some more amazing stuff to get you thinking, hey, you're amazing, and I care about you, and I want to see you do well, okay? Today, I was just trying to get you thinking. Hopefully, it'll get you to make some changes. Remember, if you want different results in your life, you do have to do different things, because thoughts become things. And the new things that we're doing together are going to give you new and amazing results. I'll be back tomorrow with some really great stuff. Hey, take care of yourself. Hug your family. See you tomorrow.